Hey, Shalom. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Ha-Rakakodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And I also want to acknowledge Allah Akim who are pushing this truth with sincerity. Alright? So with that, the spirit tonight has me in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7. It says, I myself also am a mortal man, like to all, and the offspring of him that was first made of the earth. Right, speaking about Adam. Alright, but this is Wisdom of Solomon, so this is King Solomon saying, it says, I myself also am a mortal man, because King Solomon, he was the king of Israel, alright, and David's son. It says, and in my mother's womb was fashioned to be flesh in the time of 10 months, being compacted in blood, and the seed of man and the pleasure that came with sleep. You see, so he's just showing you he's just a mortal man. He's been fashioned in the mother's womb like every other man. And then it says at the last, and the pleasure that came with sleep. So he's learned the pleasure that came with sleep. So, Wisdom of Solomon, he's obviously dealing with wisdom, because Solomon was the wisest king on to ever walk the planet Earth, right? Or he was the wisest person, I should say. I'm going to go to Ecclesiastes 5 and 12, or precept. It says, the sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. So you see, Solomon just said the pleasure that came with sleep, and then I'm bringing this out showing, hey, the sleep of the laboring man is sweet. It doesn't matter how much he eats. He's going to sleep good. So basically, the laboring man in this situation, whether you physically working or dealing with the sleep of the men who do this work in this truth, Yahweh gives us good, sweet sleep, And why? It's because we understand, we have understanding. So with that understanding is giving us rest from this world, even though, we're not in our resting place, but the sleep is sweet because of the labor that we do, Yahweh rewards us with, we're not stressed out, we're not, we're stable in our ways, Let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7 and verse 3. It says, and when I was born, I drew in the common air and fell upon the earth, which is of like nature. And the first voice I uttered was crying, as all others do. Showing you he's just like every man. He was born of his mother's womb. He came out crying just like every other person. But except the difference is Solomon was a prophet, So he's one of the elect. All right. Let's go to this precept in Jeremiah 1 and 5. It says, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. All right, this is with any of the prophets, they're ordained from the, they're ordained a prophet by Yahweh. Before you're even born, Yahweh has already ordained you a prophet, if you're an elect. So just like King Solomon, We'll go back to Wisdom of Solomon, and now we're at 4. I was nursed in swaddling clothes, and that with cares. For there is no king that had any other beginning of birth. Right? Even the king is born just like all men are. All right? Verse 6. For all men have one entrance into life, and the like going out. Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon Yahweh, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. See? Well, let's go to that. When Solomon actually prayed for wisdom. We're going to 2 Chronicles 1, and then we're going to go 10 through 12. It says, this is King Solomon, dealing with his wisdom and his prayer. He was granted by Yahweh because, instead of, let's read it. For 2 Chronicles 1 and 10. Give me now wisdom and knowledge that I may go out and come in before this people. For who can judge this thy people that is so great? You see? So Solomon was a prophet, and the prophets are the judges of the earth, right? So the prayer that he gave was, hey, I want to have the wisdom and knowledge to judge the people. Which people? Israel, right? His own people, his brethren. So let's go to Psalms 2, I think 10. Yeah, it says, Psalms 2 and 10, Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. You see? So Solomon's prayer was a righteous prayer because he wanted to judge Yahweh's people, who are the Israelites, with knowledge and wisdom. That's where his heart was. That's where his mind was, Let's keep reading in 2 Chronicles 1 and 10. We'll go to 11. I read 10. And Yahweh said to Solomon, Because this was in thine heart, and thou hast not asked riches, wealth, or honor, nor the life of thine enemies, neither ye yet hast asked long life, but hast asked wisdom and knowledge for thyself, that thou mayest judge my people, over whom I have made thee king. See, so that shows you it's the Israelites, who he's dealing with, who Yahweh is dealing with, and who Solomon is praying to have the wisdom and knowledge to rule over, to judge these people, It says, wisdom and knowledge is granted unto thee. This is Yahweh giving Solomon his blessings. Wisdom and knowledge is granted, verse 12, Wisdom and knowledge is granted unto thee, and I will give thee riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had that have been before thee, neither shall there any after thee have the like. So he was literally the richest king in the history, of the world, according to this verse. You see. So let me see. Go back to just showing you how great Solomon was, Yeah, he went off with his women, with his strange women, but he had so much wisdom, especially from dealing with all those damn women. You will learn if you deal with a woman, and as many as he did, It's just one of those things, even you can apply that to life, your own life, You see men who have dealt with many women, and they have, they have all those experiences, and so you get wisdom out of that, Then you have, on the other hand, men who have not dealt with women that much in their life, and they're naive. They're you know what I mean? It's a A woman can give you some understanding is the point that I'm making. Um, and then let's see. Go back to Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 7. And verse 7. It says, "Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon Yahweh, and the spirit of wisdom came to me." All right, and we just read that in 2 Chronicles. And verse 8, it says, "I preferred her before scepters and thrones, and esteemed riches nothing in comparison of her. Neither compared I unto her any precious stone, because all gold in respect of her is as little as sand, and silver shall be counted as clay before her." So you see, Solomon said that, hey, wisdom is more valuable than gold. It's more valuable than silver. I mean, silver is like clay compared to wisdom, and gold is like sand, compared to wisdom. Verse 10. "I loved her above health and beauty, and chose to have her instead of light, for the light that cometh from her never goeth out." You see, so he put wisdom ahead of everything, man, even health and beauty, even better than a beautiful woman, and above his health, his own health. Wisdom is even more, necessary and valuable than anything else that he had. It was the light, and the wisdom is that he got was dealing with the wisdom of the scriptures. All right, the Holy Spirit, this truth. All right. Verse 11, "All good things came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hands. And I rejoiced in them all, because wisdom goeth before them, and I knew not that she was the mother of them." See? So wisdom is basically at the top of the list, man. Meaning the knowledge of this truth. There's nothing better than having the knowledge of this truth. You see? So now I'm on verse 13. It says, "I learn diligently and do communicate her liberally. I do not hide her riches." So literally, that's how the prophet should be, learning diligently. That's why we look up words. That's why we, constantly read the Bible, do these lessons. And then, we're able to have a free education, Actually, matter of fact, let me look that verse up. There's a verse that says that this knowledge is an education, this truth. Let me look it up. Let me see. Let me see. I think maybe it isn't. Let's see. Ashley Sirach. Let's go check that out. See if it's in there. Or Ecclesiasticus chapter 1. Salakia, I'm just looking for this particular verse. Let me see. Maybe it is. Yeah, I can't find it, but Lord willing, it'll come back through the Spirit. But anyway, I'm going to go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. And we're at verse 14. And it says, "For she is a treasure unto men that," this is dealing with wisdom again, "for she is a treasure unto men that never faileth, which they that use become the friends of Yahweh, being commended for the gifts that come from learning." You see? So when we have this wisdom with this truth, we'll be considered friends of Yahweh, you see? Well, that's why we'll be delivered, you know? That's why we're the hopeful elect, because we are considered Yahweh's friends. We're coming in the spirit of Yahweh Shai, not Jesus Christ, you know? Most people are coming in a spirit of Jesus Christ, which makes them an enemy. You know, they're not the friends of Yahweh, like the prophets, you know? Let me read. It talks about the treasure that never fails. You see, let's go to the precept in Isaiah 33:6, and it says, "And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and the strength of salvation, and the fear of Yahweh is his treasure." You see. So the men who have this truth and this understanding is going to have this, give you stability in these wicked times that we're coming into, right? You're not going to take the chip because you know that that's the mark of the beast. You know, you're gonna know to be diligent and study this truth, so that you can have the, you know, Yahweh will give you the wisdom and put the spirit on you to endure during that hour of temptation. All right. Because people are going to go weak and they're going to break down, and initially they're going to say, "Hey, I'm not going to take the microchip." But then when they see their kids starving and their wife may leave them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like now all of a sudden their mind is changed and they may break down and lose that stability, and next thing you know, they're taking that chip, you know? Let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon 7:15. "Yahweh hath granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as is meet for the things that are given me, because it is he that leadeth unto wisdom and directeth the wise." See, so Yahweh is the one who grants us this truth, gives us this truth, and we're able to speak it, you know? And to conceive is as meat for the things that are given me, it says, you know? So we can conceive this, understand this truth because we understand it, you know? So we're able to speak it. And then it says, "Because it is he that leadeth unto wisdom and directeth the wise." It's showing you that Yahweh, he's the one who can give you, he can make you a fool, meaning a non-believer, or he can make you, give you wisdom, which, you know, if you have enough wisdom, now you can judge in righteousness, and you would be considered a prophet, you know, or an elect. So let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon 7 pull out a precept, because we just read in 15 at the end, it says, "And directeth the wise." It says, "It is he that leadeth unto wisdom and directeth the wise." So now let's precept that in Proverbs 20:24. Says, "A man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?" You see, we just read Yahweh is the one who directs the wise. He directs the fools too, but he directs the wise, you know? directs everybody. So we can't understand our own way. Everything we do is because Yahweh, all right? He put the spirit in. See, the computer chimed in on that one. Just like with the Apostle Gabar, Elder Apostle Gabar, he'll make a statement and his phone will chime. Well, that you just saw that happen with my laptop, which is right next to my phone here. Let me go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and I'm on 16, all right? It says, "For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements." All right, so Solomon had so much wisdom, he knew how the world was made. Why? Because he was there with Yahweh. He was one of the first fruits, Let me see if I can find that. Excuse me, my nose is a little stuffed. Allergies. Let's see. Let's see if it's... Let me try James. 1:18 says, "Of his own will begat he us with the word of truth, that we should be kind of first fruits of his creatures." All right, so this is dealing with the prophets, the elect, who are the first fruits. All right, let's go also to 1 Corinthians 15 and 23. See what that says. "But every man in his own order, Yahushai the first fruit, afterward they that are Yahushai's at his coming." You see, so Yahushai is the actual first fruit, but then also the prophets, they're also they follow right after Yahushai, considered the first fruits, ahead of all these 2/3 and these heathen, ahead of even the 1/3, or the first fruits would be the prophets or the elect. Go back to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 7, and now I'm on 16. It says, "For in his hand are both we and our words, all wisdom also, and the knowledge of workmanship." Well, I read that. I'm actually on verse 18, because he gave Solomon, well, let me read 17. "For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, and midst of times, and the alterations of the turning of the sun and the change of the seasons." And, this is actually dealing with, this verse 18 is dealing with reincarnation, because Solomon knew the beginning, ending, and midst of times, because he was always there. His spirit was always regenerated or reincarnated, all right? The beginning, he was Yahushai, and then he was Isaac, and then he was Melchizedek, and he was Solomon, and he was Yahushai. All right? That's how he knew the beginning, ending, and midst of times, because he was all of those people, because the Bible teaches of reincarnation and regeneration. Verse 19, "The circuits of years and the position of stars," so he even knew the constellations, "the natures of living creatures and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds and the reasonings of men, and or the diversities of plants and the virtues of roots. And when I read this verse tonight, it was the Spirit, because I had went out for a walk earlier, like right before I started doing this lesson. And when I was out there, it was, it looked like there was a storm getting ready to come on. And basically the wind was very violent, It was the wind was picking up strongly when I was out there. And then I came in and read this, the violence of the winds. It was through the Spirit, you see. So verse 21, in all such things are either secret or manifest, them I know. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me, for in her is an understanding spirit, holy one only, manifold, subtle, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt, loving the thing that is good, quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good, kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and most subtle spirits. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. All right, so wisdom, again, man, just Solomon is describing how valuable and great it is to have wisdom, which the true wisdom is the knowledge of this truth. Okay? So, and then it says, that wisdom is more, verse 24, for wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. All right? And then I looked up pureness just to get some synonyms, meaning words that are similar, to its definition, pureness. So, perfection, innocence, righteousness, blameless, cleanness, honor, integrity, good or right. Those are all synonyms for that word pureness, you see? So those are all synonyms that would describe wisdom. It's pure, it's innocent, it's got integrity, it's clean, blameless, you see? You get the point. Verse 25, for she is the breath of the power of Yahweh, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no defiled thing fall into her. You see? Wisdom is literally, that's what you need to seek. That's, this truth, getting this understanding. There's nothing greater than this truth and this understanding it. All right? Verse 26, it says, for she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of Yahweh, and the image of his goodness. You see? So that's dealing with wisdom. It's light, knowledge, you see? It's the power of Yahweh, it says it on verse 26. Verse 27. And I like how it says that it in verse 25 is the breath of the power of Yahweh. You see? So we're on 27. And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new. And in all ages, entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of Yahweh and prophets. So you see, it shows you there that wisdom enters into holy souls. Who are the holy souls? The prophets, the men who get this understanding. Starting out with our elder apostles of Great Millstone. They have holy souls. Because why? Because they've been prophets every single captivity we've been in. We've been prophets every single bit captive. If you were a prophet in Egypt, you're a prophet in Babylon, America. All right? No matter what captivity we were in, it says in all ages, right? In verse 27, at the end, it says, and in all ages, entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of Yahweh and prophets. So not only are we the prophets, but we're the friends of Yahweh, like we read earlier, That's why he's going to be our defense and our shield, you see. Verse 28, for Yahweh loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. All right. So let's go to a precept. This is John 17:11, and it says, this is Yahushai talking about the prophets, all right? And we just read that Yahweh only loves them that dwell with wisdom, who has the wisdom and all understanding of this Bible, but it is the prophets. So now we go into John 17:11, and Yahushua is speaking about the prophets, all right? It says, and now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to thee, Holy Father, keep through thine own name those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are. Let's keep reading. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gavest me I have kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. You see? Let me go up to 9, just because also still dealing with the prophets. It says, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. You see? So Yahweh and Yahweh are only about the prophets. That's who Yahweh prayed for. And we just read in Wisdom of Solomon 7:28. Let's read it again. It says, for Yahweh loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom, meaning the prophets. That's all that Yahweh and Yahweh cares about. All right? So Christianity has lied to you, telling you that God loves everybody, is concerned with everybody, Hell, Yahweh's not even concerned with the whole nation of Israel. He's going to destroy 2/3 of the nation of Israel. So how much more the heathen, and the Edomites? Let's go back to, verse 20. I'm on 29. For she is more, still dealing with wisdom, for she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all the orders of the stars, being compared with the light, she is found before it. Wisdom is even better than the light of the sun, you see, because this is the true light, That's how bright wisdom will make you. That's how it's greater than the sun, Verse 30. For after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom. All right, and let's look up that word vice. Let's see. It says immoral or wicked behavior, criminally activities involving prostitution, pornography, or drugs, an immoral or wicked personal characteristic, because that's what vice means. You see, so now when we read that, let me read it again. For after this cometh night, but vice shall not prevail against wisdom. You see? So wicked behavior, which, associated with the wicked, Esau, Edom, is not going to prevail against this truth that we have, We know that we have the victory. It's already been written, all right? So no matter what devices, whatever Esau tries to do, it's going to fail. He's going to try and put us in slavery again via microchip, and he's going to fail, right? Because the prophets, who are the first fruits, who are the ones who Yahweh is dealing with, that were Yahweh's friends, according to these verses, all right? Verse 27 says that. So at the end of the day, we have the victory because of this wisdom that we have and this understanding of this truth, all right? But with that, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ha-Raka Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles, a great millstone, for teaching us this truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam pushing this truth with sincerity. All right, shalom to the elect.